Welcome to today's Explainer. We're jumping right into a topic that honestly totally surprised me when I dug into the source material. It's this absolutely crucial professional skill that almost nobody talks about until, well, it's way too late. We're unpacking workplace information security and data privacy. Whether you're literally just stepping into your very first corporate job, or you're a seasoned pro looking for a quick refresh, mastering this completely shifts how you navigate the modern workplace. We're going to break down the core concepts from our sources so we can really master them together. Let's get right into it. So, what is the biggest hidden risk at a new job? Take a second. Think about it. You'd probably guess it's, I don't know, making a terrible first impression on your boss or completely bombing a high-stakes presentation. But actually, scratch that. It's none of those. The absolute biggest hidden risk, the one that can literally derail a career overnight or legally implicate a whole company, is how you handle sensitive information. It's totally invisible because data is just everywhere, and mishandling it is surprisingly easy if you aren't paying close attention.
Section 1. Transition from student to workplace. You see, the reason this risk is so huge is because of a massive mindset shift. Think about it. When you're a student, the whole ecosystem is built around free sharing and collaboration, right? But the absolute second you step into a corporate environment, that default setting flips completely to strict protection.
Section 2. Understanding the 4 confidential datas. Now, you obviously can't protect what you don't understand. So we really need to categorize the specific types of information you'll be interacting with every single day. Let's look at this taxonomy of trust.
Our source material takes this vast ocean of workplace information and divides it into 4 distinct pillars: personal data, company data, customer data, and trade secrets. Seriously, every single email you read, every spreadsheet you open, every document you print, it's going to fall into one of these 4 buckets. Let's unpack exactly what each of these means and why they are so fiercely protected.
Okay, pillar number 1, personal data. It's kind of wild when you think about it, but picture a typical office desk right now. What kind of personal information is just sitting there in plain sight? And it's not just your info, it's your colleagues. We're talking about an HR rep maybe leaving a payroll spreadsheet open while they grab a coffee, or an internal memo with home addresses, phone numbers, maybe even health accommodations. This is information relating to real individual people. Protecting this data is really just about respecting your coworkers' fundamental right to privacy. Moving on, what's super interesting about company data is just how broad it is. This is the everyday operational lifeblood of the business. We're talking meeting minutes, vendor contracts, org charts, training manuals, and even quarterly financial goals before they go public. Basically, any internal document that keeps the lights on and the business running. Now, it might seem totally mundane to you, like, say, a standard internal newsletter, but it is strictly for internal eyes only. It definitely shouldn't be shared casually outside the office walls. Next up, the 3rd pillar, customer data. The absolute keyword here is trust, and the stakes, they are incredibly high. When a client hands over their information, they're entering into a pact of trust with a company. This is their names, credit card numbers, purchase history, physical addresses, even behavioral data. If a company fails to protect this, they don't just lose money, they lose their reputation. And let me tell you, reputation is infinitely harder to earn back. When you handle this data, you are the direct guardian of that trust. And that brings us to our 4th and final pillar, trade secrets. If company data is the operational lifeblood, trade secrets are the competitive soul of the business. This is highly confidential proprietary stuff. Think of the famous recipe for a beloved soda, or the search algorithm for a massive tech giant, or an unreleased 5-year product roadmap. This specific knowledge is exactly how a company beats its competitors. If this leaks, the business's actual survival could be on the line. Now, a lot of people tend to mix up company data and trade secrets. So here's the easiest way to look at it. All trade secrets are company data, but not all company data rises to that extreme classified level of a trade secret. For example, an internal cafeteria menu. That's company data. You probably shouldn't tweet it out, but leaking that they're serving meatloaf on Tuesday isn't going to bankrupt the business. But the source code for your flagship software? Absolutely a trade secret. They both need protection, for sure, but the level of security and the fallout from leaking them are vastly different. Section 3, the 3 taboos at work. All right, now that we've clearly defined the what, let's shift gears to the how and look at the 3 golden rules for handling all this information. Our sources actually map out the exact anatomy of a workplace disaster. It shows how one careless, split-second decision can just spiral totally out of control. It usually goes like this. Step 1, an employee takes a quick, arbitrary photograph of something they shouldn't. Step 2, they forward it, maybe just to a single friend thinking it's totally harmless. And step 3, that friend, or even the employee themselves, makes it public online. Just like that, the chain of security is completely shattered. Let's break down each of these forbidden actions. Let's zoom in on that first step. Do not arbitrarily photograph sensitive information. Look, we've all been there. You want to save time, so you just snap a quick pic of a whiteboard after a meeting so you don't have to write notes. But if that whiteboard has Q3 financial projections or a list of new client names, and you take that picture on your personal phone, you have just created an unmanaged, highly vulnerable copy of confidential data. Seriously, your smartphone turns into a massive liability if you use it carelessly at the office. Moving to the second taboo, do not arbitrarily forward confidential data. The crazy thing here is how completely mundane the action feels. It is so tempting to see an interesting internal email, maybe about an upcoming restructure or a cool project, and just hit forward to show an industry friend, or even forwarding it to your own personal Gmail so you can work from the couch. But the absolute second that data leaves the company's secure servers and hits a private, unencrypted inbox, the security protocols are breached. You completely lose control over where that data goes next. And finally, the ultimate taboo. Do not make internal information public. Now, this sounds super obvious, right? But it happens all the time on social media. Imagine an employee taking a quick desk selfie for Instagram to show off the late-night hustle, completely oblivious to the fact that their monitor in the background is displaying a massive, unencrypted spreadsheet of customer data. Yikes, right? Or they jump on a public forum to vent about a highly specific confidential project. Leaking internal info to the public, whether you meant to or it was a total accident, carries massive legal and professional consequences. Section 4. Building InfoSec Protection Concepts. Okay, let's bring it all together. How do we take everything we just talked about and use it to build a rock-solid security mindset? There's this fantastic quote, translated straight from our source material, cultivating students' basic concepts of personal data protection and corporate information security. This hits the nail on the head. It's the entire point of our explainer today. By really understanding what personal, company, customer, and trade secret data are, and by actively refusing to photograph, forward, or leak them, you aren't just blindly following a rule book. You're cultivating a mindset. You're transforming from someone who just uses information into someone who actively protects it. And let me tell you, that is an incredibly valued trait in any industry. Which leads me to a final question to leave you with. Are your daily habits actively protecting data, or are you literally one accidental click away from putting it all at risk? Next time you pull out your phone in the office or hover your mouse over the forward button on a sensitive email, I want you to just pause. Think about those 4 pillars. Think about the trust placed in you. Building a secure workplace doesn't just happen by accident, it happens through intentional, mindful habits. So start building those habits today. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and hey, I highly encourage you to take a close look at your own digital footprint this week.